Good morning. This is Owazo Exwazo speaking to you from Udaipur. Evil O here. I want to talk, this is just one of my little midweek coffee chats. I want to talk a little bit this morning about art fairs and their relationship to galleries. And the fact that art fairs seem to be becoming so predominant throughout the world. They are where the majority of sales are now taking place for galleries, and many galleries are in decline worldwide. Many galleries have closed up. That sounds rather grim, and it's probably not quite as grim as I'm painting it, but it seems like that's where the trends are leading. So, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I don't criticize art fairs as much as many people do. Of course, yes, they're melas. They're nothing more than big melas of art. And there's not a whole lot of seriousness to them in the fact you don't go to an art fair to really learn thing or be presented with art in a coherent way. You don't go to an art fair to actually see an exhibition like you would at a gallery or a museum. You go there to see a lot of objects and cubicles, basically. Now, some galleries do try to break that mold, and some galleries do try to present works at a fair with proper installation and some wall text and some explanations and a catalog even sometimes. Try to make it more serious so that the visitor to the art fair can walk away with a better experience or a more knowledgeable encounter with the art, I guess is what I would say. Okay, now I understand why collectors like art fairs, because everything's in one place. It's like a shopping mall, okay? So a collector goes to an art fair and all the galleries are there, or many of them are there. All the galleries have put out ostensibly their best work that they have in their roster of artists, so the collector can see all sorts of things that the gallery probably thinks are the most saleable, if not the best conceptually or whatever, but they think they're the most saleable. And a collector likes that. It's one-stop shopping, basically. I understand that. But then you look at galleries, and I'm a big supporter of galleries. I've always loved art galleries. When I lived in Milwaukee, I would take the train down to Chicago at least once a month. I would take the train to Chicago, and there was a very large art district in Chicago, a gallery district called River North. And I would just spend a weekend. I would stay at a very cheap hotel, the Howard Johnson, I think it was, in Chicago, and it was just like really grimy, like a grimy room. I mean, it was quite horrible, though they did have nice steak and eggs for breakfast. But walking through the galleries, visiting all the galleries on a weekend was a great joy to me. I loved going through galleries, seeing what the artists were doing, reading about the artists, picking up a catalog. There was just so much there to grow by and learn by. I learned so much just going through galleries. It's part of an education. Now, I think that the galleries and the art fairs can certainly exist together in symbiosis, but I don't want to see galleries disappear. I love art galleries. I think that art galleries serve such a special role. They have the opportunity to present an artist's work in a very, very clear fashion, a well-organized fashion, with proper reading materials, wall text, things to walk you through so that when you visit the gallery, you feel like you're having a learning experience, not just a shopping experience, but a learning experience. And a fair can never offer that. It's just not the nature of a fair to be able to do that. So, how do we save the galleries? Well, tons of people show up at art openings, you know that, in major cities. Art openings are still quite the event, you know, and many, many people show up. they seems to be proportional with how much a free alcohol is served, unfortunately. You know, the more people come, the more alcohol is there, or vice versa. The more alcohol is there, the more people come. That's rather a sad state of affairs, because an art opening should not just be a party. And it's actually, truthfully, very difficult to look at the art at an opening. It's many times better to come later and look at the art seriously when you're not being disturbed. Then you can really learn something. That's why I like to go to River North, not on opening gallery nights, but just on regular gallery days, and walk through the galleries and take my time leisurely to look at what was there. I find many gallery openings these days, unfortunately, are populated mostly by other artists or other people in the art scene. Not enough average people come, not enough collectors come, and that is what you need, because the idea of the exhibition is to reach out. Otherwise, the art community becomes a totally self-referential community where we're basically talking to each other. And that's not a good thing when we're talking to each other. We have to be talking to the public at large. How do we correct the situation? I have very few ideas, and I know the galleries have struggled with this for years, but all I can say is going to a gallery in your life, whether you're an artist or a collector or just somebody with a mild interest in art, it should be part of your monthly routine. It should be like going to a gym, maybe going to a sports game, whatever. But maybe once a month, take the time out to go to a gallery, visit it, not at the opening just to drink wine, but really to go through the gallery, go through 2, 3, 4, 5 galleries in a day if you can. Really look at what they're showing and observe and understand and talk to the people at the gallery. And if you don't like what you see, tell them you don't like what you see. Ask them why they're not putting on better shows. Ask them why you're seeing what you're seeing rather than something else. You can have influence in the galleries by speaking up. Yes, openings are great. I think people should go to openings. They add excitement to the scene. They keep art alive, seeming vibrant, and they're just good ways to connect with a lot of your friends. Many times when you go to an art opening, it's a great way to meet other people, but not just openings. If you go to an opening and you love the opening, and you also notice that you love the art, take the time to go back later in the week or the following week. And don't just say you're going to do that. Many people say, oh, I'll come back later and look seriously at the art, and then they never do. No, seriously, go back and look at it carefully later. I think you learn so much that way. It is such a educational, growing experience. And don't only do it for yourself, but bring a friend along. Turn somebody else onto the gallery scene. Bring your friends. People maybe don't have a big interest in art, but maybe you can get them to develop an interest in art by taking them along on a gallery tour and throwing in a lunch. Now, this all sounds really silly, I know. It's sort of common knowledge, I guess, but more people have to get involved. Otherwise, we're going to keep losing galleries, and galleries are going to be suffering. And if you don't have galleries, eventually you're not going to have art fairs either. So anyway, that's my opinion this morning, and it's just a short little talk. So good morning from Udaipur. Have a good day. This is Wazwo X Wazwo, Evil O. Bye.